We have breaking news tonight. Any minute now, we are expecting a live news conference from the president of Portland State University, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler, Police Chief Bob Day, and Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt to address the growing protests on the Portland State campus and other university campuses nationwide. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for K2 News at 11 o'clock. I'm Deborah Knapp. Dozens of protesters have erected a barricade around their encampment at the PSU library, and tonight we are hearing reports they are now occupying the building from the inside as well. Protesters saying it's a push to get the university to cut ties with Boeing completely because of their business dealings with Israel. The university already announcing Friday it is putting a pause on any donations from Boeing until they can properly discuss the issue with their students. We have team coverage tonight. K2's Barry Mangold is live at the university, Portland State University. But first we want to go to K2's Thambi Verma, who's at PPB's Central Precinct waiting for this news conference to start. Thambi, you were at PSU earlier today when the protesters started to put up that barricade.
That's right, Deb. We were, and we spoke to a Jewish student off camera because he was concerned about his safety, and he said some of the chants he was hearing promoted Israeli erasure. On the other side, protesters told us that they were simply trying to call attention to what they say is a genocide in Gaza. What looked like hundreds of people, not all Portland University students, came out to rally around the university's library.
We're out here in solidarity with the people of Palestine who are fighting for their liberation and freedom. And we're here in solidarity with the student encampment. Students and potentially other members of the community have been camping out in front of the library since Friday in protest of the school's philanthropic relationship with Boeing, a company that has supplied arms to Israel. A representative from PSU told K2 that the encampment has grown and has resulted in greater property damage and intimidation, adding that PSU is asking the protesters to vacate the library portico.
I'm here, I'm supporting the cause, but personally, I'm not spray painting anything. I was sitting down, I could see people spray painting, I could see things being broken, and I was wondering, this is the library, what if the whole campus turns into this?
Then there were some of the messages displayed at the protest, like spray painting of the word intifada.
Intifada refers to a violent terrorist wave that happened in the early 2000s, during which time about 1,000 Israelis were murdered. For us, it's like a call to violence against Jewish people. And the press conference is actually just about to start. We're going to give you the latest from what we hear. We will toss it over now. Thanks, Deb.
Okay, Thambi, thank you. As we can see at the podium, you can see Mayor Wheeler there, Chief Bob Day, the police spokesperson.
My name is Mike Benner. I'm the Public Information Manager here at the Portland Police Bureau. It goes without saying, thank you for joining us at this late hour. We're here to discuss the events unfolding on the Portland State University campus. What started as a rather peaceful demonstration has turned into criminal behavior, and we'll have a number of speakers this evening, starting with Portland State University President Ann Cudd, followed by Portland Police Chief Bob Day, Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt, and of course Mayor Ted Wheeler. With that, President Cudd.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening. As Mike said, I'm Ann Cudd, President of Portland State University. On Thursday, protesters began gathering in South Park blocks near the Portland State campus. The Portland Police Bureau intervened when the park closed, and the protesters went away. On Friday, the protesters returned. Once again, the Portland police asked them to leave. When the park blocks closed, the protesters at that point relocated to the library portico. So they were there on Friday night. On Saturday morning, the Saturday Farmers Market, which I attend every week, I met with the protesters and talked to them. I asked them who they are. They said they were faculty, staff, and students, but also community members at that time. I asked them to please let us have access to the library open, to vacate part of the portico. I felt that they should be able to make their points known at that point, and they agreed to that. So over the weekend, we did not take any immediate action against the encampment. We wanted to avoid escalating the situation. We asked that the protesters allow access to the library. However, by this morning, Monday morning, the encampment had grown and has resulted in much greater property damage and intimidation of our campus community. So given the growing health and safety risk to our campus community and interference with our university operations, this afternoon, we, the PSU leaders, asked the protesters to vacate the library portico. But then this evening, following a peaceful afternoon protest rally on the park blocks, a group of individuals broke into Millar Library, the main PSU library, and entered the building. Other protesters remained outside the building, blocking access. PSU Campus Public Safety Office was on the scene, but due to the size of the crowd, was unable to enter the building to apprehend the suspects. Portland State University supports free speech. That's what we're all about. And we know that this issue, the war in Gaza, is important to many individuals in our community. And emotions are running high. Many feel that the injustices are just too large to ignore. And I understand this, but I cannot condone or excuse breaking and entering. I cannot condone the property damage that has taken place at PSU's library. I've proven that I'm willing to entertain debate and discuss the demands of the protesters, but I would ask them now to choose to engage civilly on these issues rather than to resort to violence and property damage. PSU has requested now the assistance of Portland Police Bureau to remove the trespassers from the library. I implore any students who are involved, who are in the library right now, to please leave the library peacefully and go back home. Thank you.
So good evening, and I think President Cudd outlined the chain of events pretty well this evening. We are strong proponents and all in agreement up here in the importance of free speech and public order events. And today, for the large part, was exactly what I would expect of Portlanders. The Portland Police Bureau and the Police Department and the campus of Portland State University have been in constant communication, working together, and really allowing for these folks to participate in these expressions of free speech, intentionally not looking to escalate any of these events. Unfortunately, tonight, as President Cudd outlined, with the breaching of the library and the fortification going on at the library, this has now become a criminal event, and it's no longer considered to be a public order or free speech event, and requires a different type of response. And so we'll be working closely in hand with the university police department, and our own personnel and neighboring agencies to develop a plan to best approach the situation in the hopes of de-escalating and resolving this with no arrests or no amount of force. I echo the President's comments that if you are available, interested, listening at this time to resolve this issue safely and quickly, would be to just simply go home at this point and allow the Portland State to restart the classes and the things that are needed to make the university function. We're always open to conversation, the Portland Police Bureau, dialogue. We are constantly committed to working to protect everybody's First Amendment rights. That's important to us. I want to thank President Cudd, DA Schmidt, and the mayor for this unified approach on this late hour. I think it sends a very strong message to our community, our entire community. The expectation that we have for all of us, how we show up in these moments, is critical. And the behavior we're seeing right now, we cannot support as an effort to try and message in a way that's just really not consistent with the values of Portlanders. So I'm going to turn it over now to District Attorney Mike Schmidt.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, President Cudd and Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you all coming together tonight on our unified approach. Like has already been discussed, I was disappointed to learn of the events taking place at PSU tonight. Our educational institutions deserve to be safe spaces and for our students and campuses to be able to function without fear or threats of intimidation or violence. While all of us up here are committed to working to protect freedom of speech, the actions taking place today with the occupation of the library have crossed the line into criminal behavior. I want to thank our law enforcement partners for their response and attention to this matter. They have my full support. I echo the chief's directive to vacate the premises. Let me be clear, we will prosecute the cases. Pending review of evidence, of course, that is able to be collected, provided by law enforcement, I expect that felony charges could be filed depending on what evidence we gather, including burglary and felony criminal mischief, along with other potential misdemeanors. We'll review those cases as we receive them, and my office will be happy to provide updates on charges that we are able to issue. We've seen peaceful rallies and protests across the state and the country over the past few weeks, even today, earlier. And I encourage the people to peacefully make their voices heard. And if you're in the library right now, it would be a good time to leave and go home and continue this conversation in a civil matter. Thank you.
I don't have much to add that my colleagues here have already stated, but I want to make it clear that we're unified. Universities are set up with the understanding that people go there to explore the competition of ideas, and that's a noble purpose. But when people engage in criminal destruction and acts of violence, that is no longer the debate of ideas, and that is no longer peaceful protest. That is criminal activity. And what I hope the public hears, and what I hope the people in the library hear, is that we are unified. The university, the city, the county, the prosecutors, the police, we're all unified. And we will not allow acts of criminal destruction or violence to carry the day in our city. Thank you.
We have time for a few questions if you have them. And
Just heard the mayor wrap up this joint news conference right now, and all of them with the same message that it is a unified approach. We're going to continue streaming this on our website, K2s.com, as well as our YouTube page if you'd like to hear more of the reporter question and answer period. In the meantime, though, we do want to go to K2s Barry Mangold, who's live at Portland State University tonight. So, Barry, what are you seeing there?
Well, Deb, the earlier peaceful protest with a significant crowd has certainly died down, and right now we're seeing only just a few dozen people outside really sitting around, and it's a quiet evening, but we are seeing some of the what appear to be camping materials that have been set up outside of the library. We're going to give you a look at what we can see from the outside here, and as President Cud and the police chief mentioned, there are clear signs of property damage. If you take a look at these windows, you can see the letters G-A-Z-A written right there. Not sure what the full message is, but there are several other messages inscribed on the windows. And I did speak to a protester earlier who did tell me that they are inside the building, but they have not destroyed anything. And if you take a look now, we're going to zoom out and show you a little bit more of the barricade that has been set up, along with the tents and just various supplies. And you might be able to see, so there are two people I see sitting in trees that have been there since we arrived about 45 minutes ago. And there are also just several people, like I said, standing around. And we're going to zoom in now to one of the signs that I really want to make a note of. I know that the library is called the Millar Library, but as one thing that we have seen is that there is a sign that has appears to have renamed the library to the Rafat Memorial Library, that name coming from Shema Rafat Al-Rir. And excuse me, I believe the sign says Al-Rir Memorial Library, but that is named after Shema Rafat Al-Rir, who is the daughter of a prominent Palestinian poet who was killed alongside her family in an Israeli attack in Gaza. That is according to CNN. And so lots of signs here. We're not going to show you every single one because some do contain profanity, but we have, just for what it's worth, in terms of the posture of the people here, people are friendly. friendly. We have been talking to some of the protesters, and when we arrived, I spoke with one who told us that they were going to reach out to other people who, I don't know if they were inside or just closer to the library. She left and came back to us and said they don't wish to speak to the media right now, but that may change sometime in the future. And when we asked if there was a place where we could set up closer, we were politely told no. So we have set up here across on the other side of the park blocks from the Memorial Library. Certainly a calmed down, but far from over situation here. Deb, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Barry. And as we heard earlier from the mayor, the chief, the president of PSU, as well as the DA, they are encouraging everyone who's inside the library to vacate the library. The president of PSU, Cud, saying that things have escalated since earlier this afternoon, including property damage and increased threats. We will be continuing to monitor this news conference. You can watch it on our website at katu.com throughout the